Good afternoon. May we have everyone get seated. We're about to begin. My name is Leticia Lopez, Recreation and Community Service Superintendent here, and I have the privilege of introducing our Master and Mistress of Ceremonies, Marcus Lee and Rita Turner.
Marcus? How y'all doing? Isn't this an awesome day? 50 years. Can you imagine? Come on up, Marcus. I have somebody very good looking to stand up here with me. And we're going to be your MCs for, I'll do the first half, and we'll pass it over to him. So we would like to have Candace, are you here? Okay. Lift every voice and sing. We need everyone to stand up. If you can do like me, do watermelon, watermelon, watermelon if you can't remember the words, but I can tell you she knows them.
Please welcome the Friendship Pasadena singers and friends as we sing, lift every voice and sing. God of our weary years, God of our silent tears, thou who has brought us, Lord, you brought us from thus far on the way, thou who has by thy might led us into the light. Lord, keep us forever in the path, Lord, we pray. Lift every voice, sing till earth and heaven ring with a harmony of liberty. Rejoicing rise high as the skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Oh, rolling sea. Come on, sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Brought us facing rising sun of a new day. Let us march on till victory is won. Till victory is won. Thank you, guys. You can please be seated. Now, before we go on with our program, I have to tell you, if you look on the left side of your inside of your program, this was the program back in 1974. So our JRCC superintendent, Leticia, wave your hands. She said, Rita, I want to recreate it. No problem. We're going to find somebody to do exactly what you needed. So we reached out to Friendship Pasadena, and Candace says, of course. And before I go to the next part of the program, I told Candace, I've been knowing Candace for years. I Googled her, Facebooked her, and YouTubed her. And in YouTube, what came up was her children. She has 3 children, twins and a girl. A boy-girl twin. And her children said, basically, if you remember Proverbs 31 woman, they rose up and called her blessed. Can you imagine for your children to go on YouTube and say, my mother is worthy to be honored, and we honor her. So thank you so much, Candace, for that. So we have the Scouts BSA number 40. The Scout Master is Julius Campbell, and Isaac Velez is representing. And let me just say, this troop is from 1st AME. 1st AME on Penn. Let's give it up for our boys. Come on. They could be doing anything else, but they're here. And we want to give the program over to you to do your thing. Thank you. Oh, Penn and Raymond.
Isaac Velez is our assistant senior patrol leader, and he's going to officiate.
Will the audience please rise for the presentation of the colors? Troop, attention. Color guard, attention. Color guard, advance. Color guard, halt. Color guard, prepare to post the colors. Post the colors. Color guard, salute. Will the audience please join in the Pledge of Allegiance? Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. 2. Color guard, about face. Color guard, regroup. Color guard, retreat. Color guard, halt. Color guard, at ease. Color guard, dismissed. The audience may be seated.
Doesn't that just warm your heart? Come on, let's give them. And the next person that's on program is a man after my own heart, maybe because he's my uncle. Pastor Emeritus William Turner Jr. from the New Revelation Missionary Baptist Church, 53 years of pastorage there. He will give us our invocation.
I want to thank you, Rita, and the coordinators for this privilege to pray, which has been the source of my strength and my victories. And I continue to pray for others as this day has dawned, 50 years of celebration for legacy won and will continue. Our Lord and our God, how thankful we are for your mercy and your grace. We thank you for the city of Pasadena who made this day possible, and we pray that it will continue to move and support the work of growth of young people in the city. And we thank you today for the city and state and even our national leaders. We thank you for their presence today. May their spirit of convictions and encouragements live on in the hearts of those they are moving with and on behalf of, to grow into greater works as we live. We thank you for the family of Jackie Robinson as they continue to work on behalf of his legacy and encouraging other young people to do some great works. We pray for their continued growth and their power and influence to be upon each and every body's work. And we thank you for the young people who's working now diligently with future hopes for their own lives. And we pray that those who have abilities will encourage others to grow with them. For there are heights now that we can reach that have never been reached before. We pray diligently for the commitment of young people and leaders in this day of troubled times. And we must pray for our nation and all of her woes, that peace will abide and that growth will continue to be a positive in the future years to come. It's my prayer in the name of Jesus, who has all power. Be it done unto us. Amen.
It is so great to have our own representatives, our own council member, and he is here and ready to work with his First Lady. Wave your hand. So let me introduce to some and present to others. Council Member Justin Jones from District 3.
How's everybody doing? Oh, we could do better than that. This is the day the Lord made, and 50 years ago, this is the day that we opened up this center to the community of city of Pasadena and to honor Jackie Robinson, a hometown hero. We could do better than that for Jackie. You know, 2024 is a very significant year for 3 anniversaries, right? In January, we celebrated Jackie Robinson's 105th birthday. In February, we celebrated the 42nd Pasadena Black History Parade and Festival. And collectively today, we are celebrating the 50th anniversary of this center. And so that is a very important milestone and barrier to cross in our community. And, you know, I was talking to my mother last night, and she's in the hospital, so I sit at her bedside and we talk about all things going on in the city, Pasadena, life, and history. And I told her what I was doing today, and she started bringing up how her mother and her uncles lived down the street from the Robinson family, how her great-grandfather, Seaborn Carr, welcomed the Robinson family, and then I think they stayed with them for a day or two. And how her cousin Ray actually was teammates with Jackie Robinson, and how they went over to Hawaii, and they left Hawaii about 2 days before Pearl Harbor occurred. And how, and, you know, in Pasadena, you know we are, right? We cherish Jackie Robinson, and it's really that legacy that he leaves in our city. Fairness, equality, everything this center has done. And so one of it's always passed down throughout our family, is when our cousin Ray was able to stand in during the Rose Parade. I think it was 1999. I think Jackie Robinson was the community grand marshal, and Ray was able to represent him in that parade. And so these stories are shared with us because we all want a part of Jackie Robinson's legacy. And this building is his legacy. Across the street is part of his legacy. The plaque is part of his legacy. The buses are part of his legacy. And everyone in here that showed up today is a part of Jackie Robinson's legacy. So we appreciate you coming out on a Saturday morning and to be a part of this building dedication. And I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge some very important people in the room. We'll start with our Congresswoman, Judy Chu.
Yes, hello everybody. I'm Congressmember Judy Chu, and I just had to join you in saying Jackie Robinson Community Center, congratulations on 50 great years. And I want to thank Councilmember Justin Jones and the entire Pasadena City Council for continuing to make the center a priority. And I have to give a special shout out to your Director of Parks, Recreation, and Community Services, Coco Panosian, and the entire staff for putting this event together. Well, I am so proud to represent a congressional district where Jackie Robinson grew up. Yeah, the first African American in Major League Baseball. He pioneered a legacy of change and inclusion through his talent and his work towards equality. Even before his baseball career, though, he stood up for civil rights and he protested the segregation policies that were plaguing our country and prevented true freedom. He grew up in Pasadena, just a few blocks from here, but unfortunately faced a lack of support from the community in a variety of ways. But this community center stands as a way of making sure that no one in this community has to undergo that struggle again. And so, for the past 50 years, look at what the center has done. It's included holistic resources such as social services, legal counseling, educating patrons on housing rights, and teaching our youth about robotics and the arts. The center also provides emergency assistance to low-income families, advocates or seniors, offers substance abuse counseling, and even income tax assistance. It's become central to the health of residents by providing substantial health services, including blood pressure and sugar screenings. And through counseling and advocacy, many community members get the support they need to obtain health insurance. And that doesn't even count the health fairs, Friday afternoon movies, and cultural activities. I mean, this center is truly a pillar of the community. And so that is why when the Pasadena City Council asked me to ask Washington, D.C. for $1.8 million in federal community project funding, which were formerly called earmarks, I said yes. So I have submitted that proposal. It's for badly needed renovations right here at the center. Yeah. So we've taken the first step. This goes through a process. So it gets put into an appropriations bill, and then the appropriations bill has to pass through the House, the Senate, and then get signed into law. Nonetheless, I will be fighting for this $1.8 million at every step of the way. Well, for the last 5 decades, this center has uplifted our community. The legacy that Jackie Robinson left behind is one of triumph in the face of adversity. And it is one of community engagement and support. This community center stands to lift everybody up, and it has made sure that everybody can get the opportunities and the resources that they need. So thank you for half a century of selflessness, and congratulations on this incredible milestone. And I have certificates for all the major volunteers for this event, but I will present one certificate of congressional recognition to the Jackie Robinson Community Center. Congratulations on 50 years.
One more. Oh, one more, Pasadena. Rita. Pasadena. Just like.
Okay. And before we move on, I'd like to acknowledge the City of Pasadena's executive leadership team. We have the city manager here, Miguel Marquez, if Miguel could wave. And in addition to Judy Chu's $1.8 million, the City Council approved $600,000 from the general fund to go towards the improvements of this community center, and that was through Miguel's leadership and the City Council, so we appreciate that. We also have the Assistant City Manager, Miss Brenda Harvey Williams, if you can wave. And we have the City Attorney, Michelle Banneries. Where's Michelle at? Oh, there's she is. All right. And next up, we would like to bring up State Senator Anthony Portantino.
How's everybody doing today? It's a big celebration. Let's make some noise. You look damn good for 50. By the way, I don't see anybody in this room who's even older than 50, so, right? Isn't that right? I don't see, and I'm an honest politician, I don't see anybody older than 50 in this room. Right? Pastor Turner started a pastor when he was like 2, so. Anyway, it's just great to be here and celebrate with you. Again, I'm State Senator Anthony Portantino, and this center and the community has just been so wonderful to me over the past 20 years, and I'm just here to say thank you for always welcoming me and allowing me to celebrate with you. And I'm going to present a California State Senate resolution to commemorate the day. But I want to tell you a little bit about history that some folks don't know, and to sort of set the stage of what Jackie Robinson did post-World War II. You know the military was segregated all throughout World War II. Post-World War II, the Army commissioned, President Truman commissioned what was called the Gillum Board to make recommendations on race within the military. And do you know what the conclusion of that recommendation that came out in 1947 was? That the military was not an instrument of social change. That when, in particular in the South, the military should respect segregation. And Truman's own generals recommended against desegregating the military post-World War II. Now, he didn't take that advice, and we know in 1948 he issued an executive order to desegregate the military against the advice of his generals. And in 1947, there was a secret test to see if integration would work. And they took 11 black soldiers and they put them in a unit of 120 white soldiers. In 1947 in Long Island, they did a top secret test. And you know who they brought over to that base to meet with the soldiers? Jackie Robinson. He met with those 11 black soldiers to talk about what he went through integrating the Brooklyn Dodgers. And so that was another little thing that Jackie Robinson did, was to inspire those 11 black soldiers who were being so watched, because had that test not worked, we don't know if Truman would have issued his executive order the very next year. And so not only did Jackie Robinson help play a role in desegregating or integrating Major League Baseball, but he played a role in inspiring young black soldiers to integrate the armed forces as well. So I bet you all didn't know that. I actually have those Army photos from the meeting of Jackie Robinson and the black sergeant who was in charge of those 11 soldiers. Anyway, so let's give it up for Jackie Robinson on many, many levels. I have a copy of that original Army report too. I don't know if it's the only one around, but I have an original copy of that report in my archive. So thank you for celebrating, keeping the legacy alive, for just reminding us today, but every day, how we treat each other, how we respond to each other, how we love each other, if we're kind to each other. It's a 365-day-a-year effort. It's not a one-day effort, right? Right? What affects one of us affects all of us, and how we treat each other and how we love each other really does matter. And I always tell young people, there's two kinds of people, and you see them at the airport. You see them at the luggage carousel. There are people who help somebody take luggage off a carousel, and then there are people who knock people over to get their luggage off the carousel. Right? You see it. And who are we? Are we the helpers or are we the knocker-overs? And then I remind young people that what goes around comes around. Your suitcase will come around again, and if you knock somebody over, so think about it. Are we going to help somebody next time we're at the luggage carousel, or are we going to knock somebody over? We're going to help. See, you knew where I was going, right? And so it is incumbent upon all of us to be helpers, to be lovers, to be encouragers, and fundamentally to be kind. And so thank you, Senator, for just inspiring us for the last 50 years. And I'm not going to read all the whereases, because I broke Winston Churchill's thing where he said there's no such thing as a bad short speech, and I already spoke too long. But I am going to go down to the very bottom and say, resolved by State Senator Anthony Portantino that the Jackie Robinson Community Center be congratulated on the 50th anniversary of the dedication of this building, commended for outstanding contribution it has made to the city of Pasadena and beyond, and extend best wishes for continued success in the future. Signed, Anthony J. Portantino, State Senator. Congratulations and God bless. And if I could present to Justin.
This way, please. Could you all turn just a little bit so it doesn't look exactly the same? Thank you. Camera in the back. Pass the news in the back.
All right, up next, we have State Assembly Member and former Mayor of Pasadena and District 3 Council Member, Assembly Member Chris Holden.
Good afternoon. Let me just tell you, I'm over 50. And I'm just saying, you know, I was graduating Wilson Junior High, heading to Pasadena High School when this ceremony was taking place, back in 1974. You know, Jackie Robinson, through the lens, and we've heard expanded upon his civil rights leadership and his community activism and his vision of bringing harmony to not only a community that shunned him, but to the world. And I think that when we look at 50 years of recognition of Jackie Robinson in Pasadena, this is probably the first place in America that had Jackie's name honored in such a way. That's awesome. And so when we think about the ensuing years, when people started to understand and become more accepting of change and recognizing not only the amazing accomplishments that Jackie Robinson brought to the field, but also the courage to step up and speak truth but power. And that's what I see this center representing. This is a center that over 50 years have held a lot of fun meetings, and some that were very tense. Some that were celebratory, like we are here today to recognize, but some where the community was hurting, and there was pain, and there were things that were taking place in the city where it was important for the community to come together with the city and talk about it. And so when we talk about change and we talk about putting out good energy and making sure that we're focusing on a future that we can be proud of. We as community members who now live in this city, but those who came before us. I looked at the program and it had a reprint of the day that this center was dedicated. I recognized at least one name, Willa Mae Walker. And Willa Mae was one of the first people I met when I ran for city council the first time. And I think these are the people, along with recognizing the Robinson family, but as a community, this center represents so much more. It's a place to come together. It's a place to show what community is all about and getting involved and making a difference in what your community is all about. Like Justin, I've had a lot of community meetings here. I've also had to be at meetings where there was a lot of pain that had to be worked through. But I want to give a special shout out to the staff, because over the years, this center would not be what it is today if it was not for the staff. Those who are here today, who are currently a part of making the $600,000 and other dollars available, and we thank our Congresswoman for her leadership in bringing additional resources. But when you look over the history, a lot of these folks who became city staffers were part of this community. They grew up in this community. They knew what the needs were of this community. And then they took that to a position within city government where they could advocate from the city hall. And so we give honor to them. We give honor to Loretta Glickman as the first African-American mayor. We give honor to Hank Wilfong and many others who followed. But I'm here to join with my colleagues to say this is such a special day, but it's also a remembrance day. So it happens to fall around Juneteenth. So a lot of important things are happening today, but we are also going to pause to say thank you to the city of Pasadena and the federal government for stepping in and making resources available for this center to be built in the first place, to be home for so many voices to come together and show what community is all about. Congratulations on this wonderful day. And I'm actually going to read every word on this resolution. Whereas, just kidding. Congratulations.
Community. Okay.
And before I bring up the director, could we just acknowledge, like Assemblymember Holden said, the past workers of the JRCC. So I know we have Eugene Washington, we have Horace Wormley. If you've worked here, please just raise your hand. Can we just give them a round of applause? Thank you. All right, I'd like to bring up our director, Coco Panosian. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Jones. Your leadership, dedication, and support to this community and the community center are always greatly appreciated. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Wait, I think it's actually afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. It's past 12. On behalf of the women and men of Parks, Recreation, and Community Services Department, I thank you for being here today. I thank the city leaders, dignitaries, and everyone that joined us to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the Jackie Robinson Community Center. Today is a milestone for the city of Pasadena, 50 years. Jackie Robinson, a timeless symbol of the fight against racial injustice, who served as a champion for civil rights and economic opportunity for African Americans. Jackie has been quoted, "A life is not important except in the impact it has on other lives." So today, I challenge everyone in this room to be that positive impact in the community, for others, locally here and beyond. Since opening its doors in 1974, the Community Center has been a connecting point for inclusive activity, cultural and historic appreciation, and supportive resources for all members of our community. As with our Community Center, JRCC offers a wide range of opportunities for all ages. We invite our youth to participate in our Rose internship program, be part of our Youth Ambassador program, take part in the NAE robotics program, which we partner with, a wonderful program. Please look into it and sign up. And you will pretty soon notice the little changes. We're actually putting the teen programming under the JRCC under leadership of Leticia and a newly appointed coordinator whom we do not know yet. We will soon know in the next couple of weeks. We invite our older adults in our community to enjoy a variety of wellness, education, and social programs. And if we do not provide a program that you are interested in for this community, please approach the staff, let them know what your idea is. Let us work through and provide a program that the community really wants at this center to add on to the program that we currently have. I want to recognize the dedicated work of the Jackie Robinson Community Center staff. If you are in this room, please stand and be recognized. Wave your hands, please. Thank you very much. Under the leadership of Leticia Lopez, of course, thank you very much for taking your dedication to this community center has been noticed by the community and by your peers. Thank you very much. Leticia was first introduced to the community at the Jackie Robinson Center the birthday in January. She was only 3 weeks here at the time, I believe, as a staff person. But the devotion of the staff, working with community members. Ms. Rita, please stand, be recognized. Ms. Rita Turner, Ms. Beverly Bogart. Where's Ms. Bev? Ms. Bev, please stand up and be recognized. Where are you at? Don't hide. There she is. Thank you very much. And of course, Mr. Horace Wormley, please stand up and be recognized. These wonderful individuals took time out of their time. And Mr. Gene Washington, I know you provided some support to this group putting this event together. I thank you all for your efforts and your support in making this event a possibility. And with that, I just want to say that we are proud and honored to share this historic anniversary with you as we continue to honor the past, present, and future legacy of the legend, Jackie Robinson. Thank you again for joining us today.
Now, y'all know we couldn't have this great center without having workers, right? We want to say to you guys, thank you so much for what you do to us and do for us. So while we are waiting for the Friendship to come on up, Friendship Baptist and Friends, let's give them a hand. I just wanted to say that Friendship Pasadena was founded in September 1893 and has been recognized as one of the oldest congregations in the city of Pasadena. Officially named Friendship Baptist Church, it was the first African American Baptist church in the city and for many years had the largest membership. Throughout history, Friendship has played an important religious and civic role in Pasadena. And as you probably already know, you've seen him, they are under the pastorate and leadership of Pastor Lucius W. Smith. I give to you Friendship Baptist and Friends. Friendship Pasadena.
Yes, here we go. This one says, I come that you might have
I did not come to condemn the world, or save you for your wrong, but I come to lift you up and highlight to give you a heart and soul. I come to give you life. I come to give you joy. I come to give you life more abundantly, more abundantly. I come that you might have life more abundantly. I come that you might have life through eternity.
Pasadena, we know y'all better not be going home on Sundays, because I'm going to tell y'all, Pastor, y'all going up there to hear that. So why we have a little change that we want to do, because Coco said, asked me to do this, so that we can have the pictures with our, everyone and our representatives. He wants to do a group photo right now. And as y'all hurry, come on up. Hurry. Because y'all know Anthony was getting ready to ride his bike. And so,
Do you want it this way and then it's roll there, or do you want it?
you tell me Coco, where you want it? Stand up, everybody. Everybody stand up. Everybody.
Everybody stand up.
Everyone's in the picture.
You guys in the corner.
Let's move this program on. Thank y'all for accommodating that little change. Y'all did a good job. And just so you know, I know that Coco was talking about the programs that we have here at the Jackie Robinson Community Center. I teach line dancing free on Monday and Wednesdays from 6 to 7:30 on Mondays and Wednesdays. So Jackie Robinson Center is they have some in the daytime. Y'all come in the daytime if you retired. But if you ain't retired like me, come in the evening. So we have next on our program, Nicole Whiteman. She is the Chief Executive Officer of the Los Angeles Dodger Foundation. She is the African-American female. And I'm only going to give you a little bit because she is not here. We're asking for your prayers for her as she is taking care of some personal things right now. So let's make sure you put Nicole, on your prayer list. But I just wanted to bring this out for you that Nicole, when she began her philanthropic career, she was the vice president of the Western region of the Jackie Robinson Foundation. So we wanted to make sure we say that. Now, the person that's coming up is my neighbor. You should get to know your neighbors. You never know who you got next to you. And Sam and Levi is going to come up. He works for the Dodgers, and he is how I got in touch with our CEO. So let's give it up for Sam for making this happen. So he is going to pitch hit for Nicole. So let's pray for Sam and Levi, because he's tired. He's usually asleep.
Thanks, everyone. My name is Sam Fleischer. I'm a senior quantitative analyst in baseball operations at the Los Angeles Dodgers. I'm here. Thank you. I'm here because my neighbor Rita is super nice, and I like her a lot.
Thank you.
And I walked in here, and she just gave me this paper, which is Nicole's statement. So I'm going to do my best here. As the CEO of the Los Angeles Dodger Foundation, it is an honor of a lifetime to guide our efforts to improve education, healthcare, homelessness, and social justice in communities that need our help the most. We envision a city where everyone, regardless of zip code, has the opportunity to thrive. As we celebrate this momentous occasion, it is a gift to highlight the iconic American hero who broke the color barrier in Major League Baseball more than 70 years ago, Jackie Robinson. Although Major League Baseball officially celebrates Jackie Robinson each year on April 15th, the Dodger Foundation honors this Pasadena treasure each day through our programs that make a difference in the lives of those we serve. As we develop diverse programs in communities throughout the greater Los Angeles area, we embed the ideals that Jackie Robinson encouraged us all to live by, not just in the game, but across all areas of life: courage, determination, teamwork, persistence, integrity, commitment, and excellence. The Dodgers have a rich history of breaking barriers, and it all began with Jackie Robinson in 1947. The class that Jackie exhibited while still performing at the highest level paved the way to inclusion in baseball and throughout American society. Because of his sacrifices, players from all backgrounds can embrace America's favorite pastime, setting the tone for our entire nation's continuous fight to dismantle segregation and rebuke discrimination. Jackie's imprint on society reminds us to embrace each other and put differences aside. Just as Jackie realized that he could impact the entire nation and not just the game, we believe that it's bigger than baseball. After the Dodger Foundation reimagination in 2013, we have raised over $154 million. Addressing the most pressing challenges that Angelenos face, the Dodger Foundation has invested over $60 million in its programs and grants to local organizations, impacting over 10 million youth. And this is on behalf of Nicole, of course.
Of course.
When I think about my journey that led to CEO, this is Nicole speaking, he's here. My story would not be possible without Jackie's ideals and the love and support of my parents. They bravely migrated to this country from Jamaica in search of a dream and managed to keep their children first and instilled the values of hard work and sacrifice. Having endured so many years in isolation as the only black woman in my boarding school, I chose Spelman for my college career and had never seen so many talented, brilliant, and beautiful people who look like me in one place. But like many of the youth who we serve at the Dodger Foundation, I thought to myself, how will I pay for this? I worked part-time and earned multiple scholarships, including the Jackie Robinson Foundation Scholarship, providing the unforgettable opportunity to serve as an ambassador of his legacy. While the financial support played a major role, it was the mentorship and leadership development that helped me soar the most. While so many students feel out of place and isolated, the Jackie Robinson Foundation created a community that we could always call home. Further adding to my experience as a scholar, I am humbled to call Rachel Robinson my mentor and Sherry. She was by Jackie's side during his most challenging moments in baseball and beyond, serving as his safe space. With grace and endless compassion, Rachel carried the torch. She strengthened his legacy with laser focus, providing college scholarships to thousands of people like me who simply needed a chance. Thanks to her unwavering perseverance, the world remembers the gem that is Jackie Robinson. And the Dodgers are committed in continuing Jackie's legacy through the support of the Jackie Robinson Foundation. And since 1987, support from the Dodgers and the Dodger Foundation to the Jackie Robinson Foundation has totaled more than $4.3 million, supporting hundreds of youth in pursuit of their dreams. And a dream of a lifetime came true for me, Nicole, when Dodgers ownership and executives recruited me in 2013 to serve as executive director and eventually CEO of the organization. Because Jackie so bravely broke the color barrier in Major League Baseball and for the Brooklyn Dodgers, it set the tone for the Dodgers organization's rich history of promoting advancement and equality. This rich history inspires me to work with organizations like the Jackie Robinson Community Center, which serves as a pillar of hope for those who need support to thrive. Today, this center, named in honor of one of the most impactful Americans of all time, symbolizes growth and evolution. After 5 decades of serving this community, this center continues to be a ray of hope by providing essential community services, including health counseling and screening, passport services, legal clinics, immigration assistance, cultural events, and resources for all ages. For more than 2 decades, Pasadena was Jackie's home. Using his legacy as inspiration, we can narrow access gaps and strive for the quality of life that all Americans deserve. Thank you so much.
I want to thank you guys, and thank you, Sam. It is always good to have a neighbor. You always have to have a neighbor. And at this point, I will turn it over to Marcus. Thank you guys for letting me be your MC for this portion. I do ask for your prayers. I wanted to say I left my brother's homegoing celebration to come here because this was important. Now I'm going to go back there, and I ask for your prayers for my mother, as she is 88 years old, and pray for this community as a whole, because this place is where I come to get my strength from on Mondays and Wednesdays. So I tell you, thank God for Jackie Robinson and the family.
Let's give another round of applause for Rita, please. And our condolences as well. Just to let you know, it gives me great honor and pleasure to be here at Jackie Robinson Center, and I'm delighted to serve you as your MC. I see so many distinguished faces around here. Where Coco? Coco still here? Coco, I need you to hear this. I need you to hear this special. I have 3 supervisors that's here right now. Brenda, can you come in, Brenda? I have 3 supervisors. You have a tough act to follow. I just want to let you know. Horace was the first one that gave me a raise, okay? Brenda was the second one to give me a raise. Now, Coco, you on the spot now. You on the, that's how lucky I am. That's how lucky I am. And let's give it a round of applause for the choir who sang Magnificent. You know, when they were singing, it making me think about the days when I was in church. I know Father's Day is coming up. I'm gonna tell you a little story. When I was growing up, my mother had 4 boys, and you know, on Sunday morning, you're getting ready to go to church and whatnot. All the boys sitting on the couch. Of course, the couch had the little plastic on there. Y'all remember the little plastic? Okay. So, because, you know, my mother getting ready and whatnot, and she always say, y'all making me late. Y'all making me late. And my Father's Day, my father would tell my youngest brother, tell your mother if she didn't change 3 times, we would have been on time. And then when my little brother said something, then my father said, don't be talking to your mother like that. So happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there, and belated Mother's Day. Okay, carry right along. We got 2 distinguished people coming up. I'd like to bring to the podium Dennis Robinson and Eureka Walker. Dennis.
No worries. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Dennis Robinson, and I am the grandson of Mac Robinson and the great-nephew of Jackie Robinson. And before I get myself in trouble, let me give a shout out to my mother, Rose Robinson, who is here. I don't want no problems. I also see some family members in the audience too. If you guys want to just quickly just wave, say hello. We're sprinkled out in here. Yes, a little bit about me. I am a Pasadena native, born and raised. I'm also a product of the Pasadena Unified School District. I went to Cleveland Elementary. I went to Washington Middle School. And I graduated from John Muir High School. Stangs in the house? Stangs? Any Stangs in the house? That's what I'm talking about. I graduated 20 years ago. This is my 20-year reunion this year, which is wild. But I'm also a Jackie Robinson, a recipient of the Jackie Robinson Scholarship Foundation. I'm an alum, and so I actually went through that program that our colleague Nicole, who looks very different nowadays, talked about just with raising funds and things like that. So as we're here celebrating the 50th anniversary of the Jackie Robinson Community Center, I actually had a conversation with my mom, and she gave me some history about what got us to this point. And I learned that my grandfather, Mac Robinson, actually played a pivotal role in naming this center, the Jackie Robinson Community Center. He collected over 1,000 signatures in order to get this recognition for Uncle Jack. It was a year after Uncle Jack had passed, and so he wanted to make sure that the city did something in honor of him. In addition to that, my great aunt Willamay also was very pivotal in the center when it opened, wanting to make sure that it was a place and a space for the youth to come for character development and things like that. My mom also shared stories of her and her siblings and cousins coming to help with Thanksgiving dinner, and they would serve the community and the elders in the community. And if folks couldn't come to the center, they would actually deliver these meals to the convalescent homes. There you go. So I'm coming from a long lineage of just legacy and support and giving back to the community, which is very important. And so as we celebrate today, we also want to remember that for the family, it is up to us, and it's our responsibility to carry that legacy for another 50 years. So thank you again. Have a good day.
Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, everyone. As you can tell, I'm not shy, so I need you to talk back to me. We're talking about 50 years, and really that means Jubilee, right? Anybody married for 50 years? I'm not one, but if you are, that's Jubilee, right? So when you think about 50 years, that's Jubilee, so we need to make some noise up in this place, amen? So let the church say, let the church say, okay, if you don't go to church, that's all right. You still know how to say amen. Glory to God. So I'm so humbled and excited to be asked to do a poem today. Thank you, Rita. I know she had to leave, but she contacted me and asked me to do a poem, so I hope I do it justice. And it's so much legacy, so much history, and I couldn't put everything in there, but I hope that this will bless your soul. 42, the greatest number. 50 years, a celebration. I'm calling it a jubilee. Standing on solid foundation, Jackie Robinson made many strides. From the Montreal Royals to breaking the color line by donning the Dodgers uniform with pride. Number 42, groundbreaking, backbone, strong like morning coffee. Aroma of change filling the air, stirring emotions of things to come, things to change. A place of triumph, victory, and honor. Storms of life couldn't hold him. Prejudice couldn't keep him. Hate could not stop this greatness. No denying number 42, Jackie Roosevelt Robinson. We stand on your shoulders. We follow in your footsteps. We salute you. Georgia born, Pasadena grown, some call it Dina. The city of roses, community stands tall, stronger, upright because of you. Fortitude continues no matter the adversity, intentionally focused to make a better day. Hold up the light, number 42, still standing, we see you, still holding up truth, justice, honor, and legacy, and 42 trillion dreams of others, because you, Jackie Robinson, fought the good fight with courage, conviction, and your faith. From Georgia to Pasadena, a true Bruin, excellent in everything. Baseball, football, basketball, track, and field. Jackie broke that color barrier, sending it to the stratosphere. Business, sports, and civil rights, he covered it all. From the streets of Pasadena, John Muir High, and Pasadena Junior College, millions have marched and danced to your syncopated beat of rhythm of life. Gone too soon, we would say, but always a champion, a hero bigger than life. Walked, talked, taught, lived, and became one with the city of roses and the majestic San Gabriel Mountains in view. Pasadena was home, 123 Pepper Street. Foundation laid, humanitarian, loving husband and father. Number 42, the greatest number, hands down, Jackie Robinson was complete, confident, courageous, conscious of his mark to make, his purpose to tame, and legacy to leave. Always shining brightly, his legacy lives. The marathon continues forever. A real legend, icon, family man, community builder, and the highest honor, a lover of God, family, and community. Dodger Blue, forever 42, hanging in the annals of time. Jackie Robinson, his legacy, sweet like 42 red roses, undeniable. Come on, come to all and witness 50 years of a solid foundation, a blueprint of accomplishment. Pasadena, City of Roses, establishing the Jackie Robinson Center. 50 years strong. What a legacy. What a legacy. What a foundation to leave for this Pasadena community and the world. Jackie Roosevelt Robinson, to God be the glory for your life, your legacy, your commitment to change, and this beautiful Jackie Robinson Center. 50 years strong and impacting many lives. So we all come to celebrate and to say, happy 50th anniversary, Jackie Robinson Center, 1974 to 2024. And thank you, number 42. Thank you.
Let's give another round of applause for that beautiful poem. When you were speaking, kind of remind me of my mother, how enthusiastic she was when she used to talk to us, when she used to be whipping us. And you remember what the key when you're getting a whipping? What was the key if you're getting a whipping? Anybody know? Don't you say nothing. Then I tell you to stop. So you just take it like a man, just take it like a man. All right, moving right along, coming to the podium, we have the past and the future. We have Mr. Kevin Johnson, principal, planner, designer, historic presentation. Ready? Come on in. Yep. Big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you all. Good afternoon. Tough acts to follow. I'll try not to be too boring, and I'll be quick. So I'm here my name's Kevin Johnson. I'm a principal planner in the city's Planning and Community Development Department. I did a little bit of research just to find out the genesis of this center and this neighborhood as well. So I have a few slides just to show how this neighborhood has changed over the years. So if we switch to the next slide. The first slide here, this is a little hard to see, but this is an old 1895 bird's eye view drawing of the city. You can see up at the corner of Washington and Fair Oaks, the Painter Hotel, which is now the La Pintoresca Library, and that's a little north of here. Mostly scattered houses and orange groves in this area at that time, and you can see the location of this center that it would become, noted there on the map. Next slide. This is a map that shows the building footprints of buildings in this area. So this is Fair Oaks Avenue between Mountain, near the intersection of Mountain. And you can see that the yellow buildings are all residential buildings. So mostly houses in this area on Fair Oaks. And some commercial buildings in the pink and blue colors. So in that time, things were changing to become a little bit more residential in this area, and there are some businesses here which are noted from about 1937, those businesses that were in this area. We can move to the next slide. This goes up to 1958. You can see a lot of change has happened in the 30 years since the previous map. By this time, most of the buildings along Fair Oaks were commercial. There were still some residential buildings scattered, including in the Jackie Robinson Community Center site. It was all residential in this area, but mostly new businesses had been built in this area. Next slide, please. So in the late 1950s, the beginning of the transformation of Fair Oaks Avenue began when the Pepper Street project was proposed by the Pasadena Redevelopment Agency. You can see the map here that goes from Mountain to Washington and Sunset Avenue to Fair Oaks. And this area, you can see where the community center was eventually built. There was a park always envisioned, but it was further to the west off of Morton Avenue. Now, obviously, we know it's right across the street along Fair Oaks. But at that time, the planning for this area was a little bit different than how it actually ended up. Almost 500 buildings were identified for demolition in this area, and they were intended to be replaced by luxury apartments and new commercial buildings along Fair Oaks. So you can see that this center was part of that site as seen here. So this was sort of the beginning of change that would happen here in this area. Next slide. So we were able to find these photographs of this area. This is from about the early 1960s. These were from the Redevelopment Agency, and they were kind of showed the character of the area at this time. And in the next slide, one of these images is blown up. If you can go to the next slide. This shows Fair Oaks Avenue looking north from Mountain Street in August of 1963. So you can see along Fair Oaks, there were a series of one-story commercial buildings near the street edge, and these are similar to many other commercial districts in the area at this time. Next. So the Pepper Street project was ultimately built. These were some photographs of what's now the Kings Villages. After faltering sales of these apartments, they were made available to low-income families. Next slide. So looking through the city's records, I was able to find some documentation of the idea for creating a community center in this area, which started in about 1966 as the Pepper Street project was being built. And it became official with council action in 1968. It was originally proposed at the corner of Fair Oaks and Hammond, where Robinson Park and the Jackie Robinson Recreation Center now stand. And the facility was originally planned to address both social and educational needs, but also recreational needs of the community. Later, the recreational needs were then moved into a separate building at the park, and this facility was focused on social and welfare needs of the community. Next slide. It was contemplated to be a 17,000 square foot facility that would provide services related to health, employment, legal aid and counseling, meeting and office spaces, information resources, a seniors reading room, and support spaces. Next, please. Grant funding was requested in 1970 through the Housing and Urban Development Act of 1965 to assist in financing the development cost of neighborhood facilities necessary for carrying out programs of community service. Next, please. By the time the environmental documentation for the project was approved by the council in late 1972, the location had then moved to this site at 1020 North Fair Oaks, and they had engaged an architectural firm called Frick and Jeté. And it was also, this building was at that time referred to as the Northwest Neighborhood Center before the name would be changed to the Jackie Robinson Community Center. A few months after that, the council approved the contract and the bids for the construction. Next. These are some elevation drawings that we were able to find from the architectural firm, which is still in practice. They now are in Apple Valley, but they were originally located here in Pasadena. There's also some sketches of Arthur and Edward Frick and Leo Jeté, who were the designers of the building. And architect William Spencer also collaborated with the firm on the design. Next, please. They were also able to find this photograph in their archives of the building that was likely taken in 1974, right after the building was completed. You can see the landscaping hasn't actually been put in yet, but if you go to the next slide, the building looks pretty much exactly like it does today, except with the new landscaping and relocated signage. So it really has not changed a lot since it was built. So that's a brief history of the Jackie Robinson Community Center. If you go to the next slide, I just did want to speak for 1 minute about the city's Historic Places Pasadena Completing Our Story project. This is a project that seeks to tell the full story of the development of the community and identify historic resources that represent the historically significant events, people, and architecture of the city. And we need to hear from you in the community about what places are important to you and tell your story. So please visit our website at cityofpasadena.net/historic places and add your story to the map. And there's also brochures and information out at a table in the lobby, which I'll be at after the program if you'd like to come and talk to me about it. Thanks to everybody. If you go to the next slide, just some photo credits, all the great archives and resources in the city that provide all the information that was in this presentation. And thank you to all for inviting me to present. I learned quite a bit about this facility that I didn't know about, and I hope you did too. So thank you very much.
Another round of applause for Kevin Johnson, please. Moving right along, the next person coming to this mic, I want to tell you a little story. He's been very instrumental in my recreational growth. He was able to put up with all my silly ideas. Some of the ideas I'm going to tell you that he put up with. The soapbox derby, I'm pretty sure you remember that. Okay. Family Fun Day, he supported that. Robertson Park Festival, we used to have a festival each year when we used to invite the community to come out and let them see what type of programs and activities that we have. And I got to give this person a very big shout out because he took a very, very big bullet for me. We decided that we were going to have a celebrity softball game. And we had a meeting with the police, and at that time, I think Twitter was just coming out with just being popular. And we had that meeting, the police was like, man, there's no way we can have the celebrity softball game. You got 100,000 people following each other. How are we gonna fit everybody over at Robertson Park? But this guy, he stuck with me. He told me, don't worry about it. We're gonna work it out, and he did. Now, coming to the podium is a very, very special friend of mine and also a mentor. Coming to the podium right now, Mr. Horace Wormley.
Thanks, Marcus. You scared me to death with that project, though. Good afternoon, everybody. And again, welcome to the 50th anniversary celebration of the Jackie Robinson Center. We all know that the center is named in honor of one of Pasadena's icon, Jackie Robinson. But what I'd like to do first is to acknowledge some of the center supervisors who preceded me here. William Bill Boone, I'm sure that name may ring a bell with some of you. Gene Stevenson, and Prentice Dietrich. They all established programs, services, and activities that represented the values of Jackie Robinson. And during my time here, we attempted to build upon and expand on those services. We offered a host of programs, services, and activities that continue to represent Jackie's values and to utilize the facility by making it available to the community for various meetings with such groups as youth sports groups and nonprofits. As you look around the walls of this room, and the artwork that you see here, that was a intergenerational project. Working with the Armory Center, we established 6 groups of 5 individuals, consisting of a senior, an adult, and high school, middle school, and elementary school participants. And you can probably see from some of the work here that some of them were more talented than others. I'm still trying to figure that one out over there on the wall. I don't know what that one is. But this project was more than just an arts project. Seniors and adults became mentors, sharing their wisdom, while the youth provided their perspectives and insight. Seniors and adults started tutoring and supporting the youth with their school and sports activities, while the youth visit the churches and other activities of the seniors and adults. And the adults were involved with them just about at every level. And as a result of that, there were several employment opportunities that resulted. During that time, the center sponsored a senior talent show, and some of the seniors would during their talent performance, would perform some of the dance moves that the youth had taught them. And I remember calling on the staff and asking the staff to call Station 36 and have some of the paramedics on standby. I was really concerned about some of the moves that they were making out there. Also, speaking of this room, we made it available during council meetings. We placed a big screen TV here on the stage. We passed out speaker cards and to anyone with questions of the council, and working with the city PIO, we had phones installed on the walls here, and we would call in those questions that the community had, and they could hear and see the questions asked and answered. This room was filled. We had more than 50 individuals in this room. And I want to say that after a while, this particular facility became known as City Hall West. Some people were even calling me the Northwest Mayor. Another activity that comes to mind that met in this room was the Bridge Club. The president was an older gentleman, very professional and polite. And I remember thinking, he's old enough to be my dad, and yet he's calling me Mr. Wormley. When he passed away, his wife came to me to express her husband's appreciation and to share his obituary. And to my surprise, he was an original Tuskegee Airman. I expressed my condolences and regretted not spending more quality time with him, but her comments assured me that we were doing what the center stood for. We provided a host of services and programs and activities. I'm sure Gene Washington, when he comes up, will share some of those with you. But I'd like to highlight just a few of them. Our computer labs for youth, teens, adults, and seniors. Our consumer action, we offer landlord-tenant restraining orders. Through the effort of Gene Washington, we established an SAT, ACT prep class, a GED class. We had anger management and parenting classes, and we worked with the court system, so we accepted referrals from the court. A variety of senior programs and activities that we also offer here. We had so many good senior programs that we were oftentimes, Gene referred to as the senior center. And I had to remind people that we are not a senior center, we are a multi-purpose community center. And again, Gene, you'll share some of those programs with everyone. Our efforts also extended beyond the center. Staff met with neighborhood associations, neighborhood watch groups, community-based organizations, churches, businesses, and anyone willing to listen as we promoted the center. I remember meeting with some gang members in an effort to get their support, and it resulted in no negative impact or activities in and around the center. I remember during the Rodney King uprising, someone threw a brick through the front door, and of course I received that 3 a.m. call. Later that morning, I stopped a gang member walking across the patio here, headed to the bus stop, and I questioned him about the damages, and he assured me they had nothing to do with it. However, around 5 p.m., he marched into my office, and he had this kid by the collar like this, marching into my office. And he had the young man to apologize and promise to behave going forward. It scared me to death, and of course I followed up weeks later to make certain the young man was fine, and he was fine. All of my 37 years with the city have been directly associated with this center, either as the supervisor here, or the division manager, or the deputy director, or the department director. During my time, the center has had dedicated staff willing to go beyond the call of duty. One staff I want to highlight is Christine Harris. She worked under Gene Stevenson, Prentice Dietrich, and was the coordinator when I was the supervisor here. When I moved on, Christine became the supervisor. She loved this center as much as anyone. Her day would start around 8 a.m., and she wouldn't leave on average until about 10 p.m. And the center during that time, we were open until about 9 p.m. I remember teasing her that I was going to find her a husband so she would go home no later than 6:30. Christine was one of the best persons and coworkers I've ever known. I would personally, it's very dear to me, I would personally like to see the city recognize Christine Harris. I would like to see them recognize her with either a plaque or at a minimum naming one of the rooms in her honor. She was just she passed away while serving as a center supervisor, and she was just a really sweet and dedicated and hardworking person. We argued like husband and wife, but we got things done around here. And then finally, I know we talked about all of what is coming to the center in terms of funds, but I'd like to challenge the community and the center to continue to support the staff here as they prepare to take the center into the next 50 years. Oh, by the way, Coco, the artist that did the work here around the wall from the Armory Center, guess what his name was? Coco. Anyway, thank you all. Happy Father's Day to all of the fathers and dads out there, and thank you again.
Another round of applause for Mr. Horace Wormley. Now coming next to the podium is another man that been instrumental in my recreational growth. When I was a supervisor over at Robertson Park, I used to meet with this man periodically. He used to give me different advice, just picking his brain rather, and he gave me some good advice, and I take it to today. Coming to the podium right now, Mr. Gene Washington.
Good afternoon. Before I start, I want to recognize some other people in this room that hadn't been recognized, and some that are not here. First of all, I want to mention and recognize Terry Cannon. Terry Cannon was the founder of the Baseball Reliquary. That is all of those exhibits you see out there in the lobby and the exhibit with Ebbets Field. That's from Terry Cannon. He put this together. He started the Baseball Reliquary in 1996 in Monrovia, California, my hometown, and a graduate of Monrovia High. Terry then came to us after we did the 50th celebration of the Jackie Robinson Breaking the Color Barrier. He came to us and said, I have some things I'd like to put to the center. So he put this together, and if you guys go on the far wall, you see an exhibit of the Negro Baseball League. Also, that came from Terry. Terry's no longer with us. He passed in 2020. I also like to recognize Georgia Holloway. She could not be here today, but Georgia was a community activist, and she was one of the pillars. She fought for the community, the people of Northwest Pasadena. I want to also acknowledge Carmen Roberts. She's here. Carmen, wave your hand. Put it, yeah. Carmen Roberts is the Executive Vice President of the SEIU 2015 Union. This is the union of home care workers. Carmen, I went with her, had the really pleasure of going with her on a couple of events. I went to an event with Danny Bakewell over in Los Angeles where Kamala Harris, the Vice President of the United States, was there. Also, we went to an event down in Monterey Park, the Asian Pacific Islands Month, and Carmen was the speaker there. She was the speaker at both events. Carmen has traveled up and down the state of California representing the union. She also travels across the country. She just recently was in Chicago and Philadelphia, so she's a busy, busy woman. I just wanted to recognize Carmen Roberts. Also here is Martin Gordon. Martin is he's the director of the Pasadena Coalition. Marty is the person that made this event happen. He persevered, he is a activist, and to my knowledge and to my importance, I don't think this event would happen without Martin Gordon. Donna Brown, also, she was with Project ACE. They had housed here, and they provided counseling for parenting for the parents and for the youth. Sonia Amos is not here. She couldn't be with us, but Sonia Amos spent 35 years service with the city of Pasadena, and through her historical knowledge, Horace and I were able to prepare for this event. Let me see, Hank. Also, I want to acknowledge two other people. One is Hank Jones. Hank is a community activist in the Bay Area in San Francisco. He worked with SNCC, Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee. If you don't know it, Google it. Hank also was a close worker with Fannie Lou Hammer. When she came to the Bay Area, she stayed with Hank's mom when she did some community service up there and helping out with the human and civil rights movement. And she was an icon in the human and civil rights movement. So, Hank, raise your hand there. Okay. And the last person I wanted to recognize is Florence Zinzun. She's the wife of Michael Zinzun. Raise your hand. And I don't know if you know, Michael was an international activist. Michael traveled to South Africa when Mandela was freed. He was invited to Namibia in Southwest Africa when they became independent. He went to Haiti to try to resolve some of the issues in the country of Haiti. And he was also very well known and invited to Brazil. Brazil, he went to Salvador, the area of Salvador in Brazil. Brazil has 70 to 75 million people of African descent. Okay, I'm going to talk from my perspective. I spent 12 years at the Jackie Robinson Center. This was a multi-purpose community center, and it was named after Jackie Robinson, who was not just a baseball player. He was not just a player. He was a giant in the 20th century. Jackie Robinson worked tirelessly throughout the 50s, 60s, and up to 1971 before his death. As an activist for civil, human rights, and social justice, he was a vital part and spokesman for the movement and maintained a close relationship and friendship with Martin Luther King. Martin Luther King praised Jackie as a pilgrim of the civil rights movement. He said he was a sit-in before sit-ins, a freedom rider before freedom rides. Rachel Robinson, I see in the program that she was here during the original presentation. You know, Rachel's still with us. She's 103 years old. Rachel and her children, Sharon and David, had some concerns with the city of Pasadena naming the community center in Jackie's honor. She remembered her brother-in-law, Mac Robinson, and how the city treated him when he, in 1936, he won the silver medal at the Olympics. Also, he went to PCC Community College, or at that time, Pasadena Junior College. He went to the University of Oregon, ran track, but he also went to classes. So he was a college-educated person. When he came back to Pasadena, he got a job as a street cleaner and a garbage collector. So Rachel remembered that, and she never forgot that, and Jackie never forgot that. So she had some concerns when the city wanted to name the center after Jackie Robinson after he had passed. He passed in 1972. I'm a resident of Northwest Pasadena, been here for over 40 years, and the community center has always been a hub of activity serving the people not only of the Northwest, but of residents in need of services throughout Pasadena. I spent 12 years implementing and coordinating programs and services with Christine Harris, who is no longer with us. Christine and myself and those who worked in the community center during my time and the years before were keenly aware of carrying out the legacy of Jackie Robinson by providing the programs and services that the community was in vital need of. We all who worked at the center over the past 50 years had a passion for this legacy. This is more than just a job. It was more than just a job for us. It was not just a paycheck. We were all representing Jackie Robinson and the services that he provided and he represented to people in need. I'm going to read a short excerpt from Jackie's autobiography, I Never Had It Made. And this represents what we that were working here during those years had that passion for. Life owes us nothing. Baseball owes me nothing. But I cannot, as an individual, rejoice in the good things I have been permitted to work for and learn while the humblest of my brothers is down in a deep hole, hollering for help and not being heard. That is why I have devoted and dedicated my life to service. I don't like to be in debt. I owe, and I owe. Some of my friends tell me I've paid the note 1,000-fold, but I still feel I owe, till every man can rent and lease and buy according to his money and his desires, until every child can have an equal opportunity in youth and manhood, until hunger is not only immoral, but illegal, until hatred is recognized as a disease, a scourge, an epidemic, and treated as such, until racism and sexism, narcotics are conquered, and until every man can vote and every man a woman can be elected if he qualifies. Until that day, Jackie Robinson and no one else can say he has it made. That's him coming from the words of Jackie Robinson. To that end, we always kept that in our mind, the legacy of what we were doing at the center. And that's why I say we had that passion. And that passion transferred into the programs and services that we provided here at the center. I'm going to go through a few of them. Horace mentioned some. We had senior activities and programs. And like I keep saying, this was not just a senior center. It was a multi-purpose center. And you'll see. They had the country line dancing, the bridge club, sewing classes, chair exercise for health, creative craft and ceramics classes, counseling for seniors from the Aging Centers for Aging Resources, monthly senior information forums, nutrition hot lunch by the YWCA, and they provided on a weekly basis, Monday through Friday, nutritious hot lunches for seniors to come in and get a hot meal. Senior Summer Day Camp, this was an innovation of Christine Harris. We did 3 weeks in the month of July with fun games and field trips for the seniors, and they would be right out front there in the daytime out front, and the seniors loved that activity. We had senior field trips throughout the year. These trips included locations in Southern California area. We went to the Getty Museum, the Hollywood Wax Museum, the Dodger games. Whenever we would go to the Dodger games, they would always put the Jackie Robinson Center up on the big Megatron to recognize us. Peach picking, Strawberry Festival in Oxnard, LA County Fair, Allensworth State Park. We would go to Allensworth every year during Juneteenth. They had a celebration there. And the Tuskegee Airmen would fly over during that celebration. They had vendors. So sometime we had to take 2 buses out there. The Jackie Robinson, we had a monthly newsletter at the center. We had Senior Friday movies, Senior Talent Show was sponsored by the nationally known Links organization. Senior Night Out, which was an event during Black History that we celebrated the seniors, and we'd have live music, we'd play music of that time. Jackie Robinson Seniors also were here, was a nonprofit organization that was housed at the center. We did blood pressure screenings and diabetes testing were provided by Huntington Outreach. And they also had a podiatrist come on a monthly basis. This is for the seniors. Now for the adults. We had the utility assistance program provided by the PWP. What they did was help low-income citizens who were having problems with their utility bills. Consumer action services, we had landlord-tenant issues, restraining orders to help women in abusive relationships, and income tax assistance. Court referrals, we had court-ordered community services, dispute resolutions. The Los Angeles County Bar would come and provide pro bono assistance. The lawyers would do that. We had a notary public, immigration assistance, Housing Rights Center was housed here, and I think they still are here. We had a Spanish as a second language class in the evenings. We had English as a second language class in the evenings. We had a computer class in the evenings, and we had GED classes in the evening. This is for adults. We had a computer lab open, and we had computer classes. Chris is not here, but in order to get that computer lab, we had to go to Chris, and he had to do some work to get us to have a computer lab at the Jackie Robinson Center. Also, I mentioned Project Day. They had court-ordered parenting classes. They had an office here for many, many years where Donna was the coordinator. And we had court-ordered anger management classes. They were here in the evenings also. Because see, the center was open till 9, so some of those classes had to go to 7, 8 o'clock at night. So and if you come to this center during those years, it was a lot of activity going on. It was always something happening. We did have youth programs. We had an after-school tutoring program and homework assistance for elementary age students. Monday through Thursday, we had materials and supplies provided by Warner Brothers Studio. In addition, our students were treated to field trips to the studio in Burbank that included private screenings of movies for youth, and we also did a tour of the studio lot in Burbank. We had math and science tutoring for middle-aged and high school students Monday through Thursday. These were provided by instructors from Caltech and JPL. We had the SAT, which Horace mentioned, SE prep class for high school students. There was a 6-week class, 3 hours on Saturdays, twice a year, once in the spring and once in the fall, to prepare our PUSD students to get ready for college entrance exams. We did that. It was 3 hours on a Saturday. We covered math and we covered grammar. We had special events here at the center. We had a community fair, which we mentioned screenings for flu shots, but we also did a prostate cancer screening and educational forum. We did a breast cancer and educational screening forum. We did colon cancer screenings where you would take that test home or take a test home and then you could mail it in for educational forums. We had cancer screening and educational forums. These were co-hosted by, they came to us because they knew that the Jackie Robinson Center would bring people in that were not so anxious to have themselves screened for cancer. Our coalition was by the City of Hope, American Cancer Society, Huntington Hospital, Wellness Community, and the Pasadena Health Department. We had diabetes educational forums and American Diabetes by the American Diabetes Society. We coordinated and organized the Black History Parade and Festival, and this past year was the 42nd anniversary of that position. And what some people had mentioned, we had community meetings here at the center. Like a lot of things were going on. If there were any shootings or any bad things going on in the community could meet here, and those meetings were always, some of them were so fun, they got pretty rowdy, but they were here in this auditorium. Anyway, I'd like to just close by saying a couple of quick things, because I know it's getting late. Horace and myself, we invited Justin Jones, City Council member, to come here 2 years ago to do a tour of the center, because we felt the center was coming up on the 50th anniversary. And I know that you got to say thank you for certain things, but This Jackie Robinson Center, like I said, is 50 years old. If you look across the street, Robinson Park, it's brand new, beautiful in there, wonderful looking in there. I did a tour of Villa Park. They got lots of good things in there. They got the boxing facility. They have the state-of-the-art exercise classes in there. Those are all brand new, and they found money for that. And if you go to Washington Park, you'll see the Washington Community House. That cost a few $1 million. That was just recently built. Then here's the kicker. Jackie Robinson falls through the cracks because it's not located in a park. All of these facilities I just named off were at parks, so they got federal funding. But the Jackie Robinson Center is the odd man out because we're not located on a park site. And this is why this center is 50 years old. It's nice looking, it's clean, but it's old. It's very old. And I would challenge anyone, if you compare this to Robinson Park, to Villa Park, and also go to the community house on Washington. So thank you.
In Washington, George Foreman, y'all all know who Prentice Dietrich is. That's the third person who's not here. 1, 2, 3 to make sure this place was what I spoke to him yesterday. He's in Paris, and he said to give y'all his love, that he wish he was here for this 50th anniversary. Thank you, Prentice Dietrich.
Absolutely. Good job, Gene. I may be using that anger management class over here if Coco don't give me that raise. Sorry, Coco. All right, no further ado, coming to the podium right now, Mr. Hayden Melbourne, Principal, Engineer, Department of Public Works.
Thank you, everyone. Hello. I'm a principal engineer with Public Works Engineering. Our group just merely facilitates the capital projects that are done here in the city of Pasadena. We focus on the park projects as well as the building projects. And I've actually had the privilege of doing several projects over the years here. There we go. Thank you very much. Just over 5 years ago, we completed the community kitchen project. And during the pandemic, we actually did 2 infrastructure projects here as well. We replaced the roof, as well as the HVAC system inducting in the building. So while many people weren't able to occupy the building during the pandemic, we were actively working on the facility. Now, one of the things I'm very excited about, and several people have alluded to previously, is that the project that we're planning for upcoming at the community center. Now, with the help of Parks and all the staff here, I am just really excited because you guys advocate for these projects and then I just merely facilitate them. But it's because of the people in this room, these are why things are going to get done. And I also want to thank the council member Jones, because he was the biggest advocate to get us funding for this project. With the help of park staff, we've identified $2.5 million of upgrades that'll be implemented over the next couple of years. Representative Hsu, she did mention that she has an earmark that's going to go for the federal budget for $1.8 million. But initially, we do have funding for $600,000+ to do work in here. We're going to be expanding this stage. I know it's a little snug in here when we were doing the singing and the presentations. This is going to be expanded, refinished. There's going to be audio-visual upgrades in this room as well. We're going to be redoing the kitchenettes for the staff areas. We're going to be upgrading lighting in the building. We're going to be repaving the parking lot. There's going to be other signage that's going to be done outside. And then one of the big things that's going to be done in that second phase with that federal funding is we're actually going to be doing reopening that pottery room that's been vacant for so many years. And so I'm really excited about that because as Coco mentioned, he wants us, the community members, you, the ones who are using this facility, to come to him and give him ideas about what you truly want in this building to go forward. And so this is one of the ideas that we've heard, and we want to get this thing moving as quickly as possible. So I just want to say thank you, and on a personal note, as a person who lives in this community, events like today make me even more proud to live and work here because I see the passion that everybody has here, and so thank you very much.
Another round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. All right, coming to the podium right now, we have another number from Miss Candace West Lacey.
Let's give a big round of applause for all of those that have already spoken. I know it's been a long day, and we're still here. We're just honoring and celebrating this great occasion. Unfortunately, my keyboard player had to leave, and I'll be leaving shortly, but the song that was asked to be sung was Climb Every Mountain. All right? Climb every mountain, search high and low, follow every byway, every path you know. Climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow, till you find your dream, a dream that will need all the love you can give. Oh, every day of your life, for as long as you live. Oh, climb every mountain, ford every stream, follow every rainbow, till you find your dream. God bless you all.
Let's give it up. Let's give it up for Candace. Next year, Candace, we're gonna do a duet. You think you're brave enough? Hey, I'd like to give another special shout out to a very special director, Miss Lola Osborne. Can you raise your hand real quick, Lola? She's been very inspirational in this whole program. And moving right along, right now, we're gonna have the unveiling of the time capsule. Watch the speaker. Yep.
So if you notice on your program brochure, I was able to find the original 1974 program. So if you see that inside your program, we tried to implement the same exact things. Of course, some things are no longer here, but as you see, the program is kept to the original. This time capsule, what we have, if you did a postcard in the far back, we're gonna implement and put that in our time capsule. Let me see. So all the memories of the past, including the present, will all be in this time capsule for the future. And this video that is being recorded, it will be on YouTube, but on behalf of Pasadena Media, they will also provide a USB so that we can put this all in here. All the research and the support that I had, I was able to gather all these past articles, the presentation that you've seen, we are putting it in this time capsule. That being said, let's go ahead and showcase, and we have a beautiful plaque as well. These were the past articles if you have not read, and we have these past articles in these time capsule as well. Oh. That's okay. Oh, I can just say it right here. So it's in engraved at Jackie Robinson Community Center's 50th celebration, and inside, the gifts that we also gave is a box, and there's a key. It's a bottle opener as well. So, and it says, thank you for being a key part of our past, present, and future. Thank you. And inside, we have a patch. It's the City of Pasadena Jackie Robinson Community Center 50th anniversary. So you're more than welcome to put it on a patch or hang it or whatever you please, but this is also part of the memories that we are cherishing and creating. So, and I'll pass it on to Lola. So the photos and everything that is there. We also have a self-addressed envelope if you wanted to write yourself a note, so that if we do this again, maybe 10, 20, 25 years later, you can make sure you date it so that we will mail it years later to come, and you can open and be reminded of this day. If we do move on, at least your family, your loved ones can see, oh, my dad, my mom, my loved one wrote this. So it's almost like a Back to the Future type of task. But here, we'll go ahead and present the plaque as well.
So we have a beautiful plaque that will be adjacent to the time capsule, and it reads, Jackie Robinson Community Center celebrates 50 years of exemplary service, commitment, and dedication to the city of Pasadena and surrounding communities. And it has a picture of Jackie Robinson on there. That's on the program.
And we will also bring out the cake. And the cake was graciously donated by Miss Barbara. And we would also like to bring up the Reverend. So where's our Reverend? From St. Barnabas, which we were able to find, is she here? Reverend Marianne Zan, priest in charge of St. Barnabas Episcopal Church. She's going to lead a prayer, blessing, and benediction. And what we were able to find 50 years ago from St. Barnabas, one of the benediction that was given 50 years ago. So we'll go ahead and welcome the Reverend V.R. Marianne Zan, priest in charge.
Thank you. Thank you so much for being here, the faithful remnant left. We are your neighbors next door, so we are your siblings in proximity. We're also your siblings in time by about 49 years. We just had our 101st anniversary last week. So on behalf of my congregation, thank you so much for having us be part of your celebration today. Letty mentioned that she found this blessing from the actual dedication, and she sent it to me, and it has the markings on it and everything. So I've been asked to pray, and then we'll bless the center, and then I'll give a benediction for all of you all here. But I'll start with the words from Father Wilkins. He opens with a brief quote from Maya Angelou, whom he calls a young contemporary. Quote, I don't ask the Foreign Legion or anyone to win my freedom or to fight my battle better than I can, though there's one thing that I cry for. That is every man's responsibility to man. He adds, so we in this community may take some satisfaction that this building symbolized every man's responsibility to man. And the prayer, God, our Heavenly Father, thank you for beauty, for truth, justice, love, the vision made to live for us in the life of your perfect man, his mother Mary, and Joseph, the protector of his youth. We thank you that this holy family gives us the criterion to measure the lives and talents, the trials and triumphs of our fellow men and women in all time and places. We thank you for Mother Malley, who was the matriarch of the Robinson family, the family she led to this community nigh a half-century ago. Here the sons and daughters followed her in usefulness and devotion. We have in mind Mac, who gave full effort in the Berlin Olympics and inspired his younger brother Jackie to go forward. We're mindful of Pastor Carl Downs and the teachers and leaders in collegiate sports who gave encouragement. We remember the management of the team, and he has written in ink, Branch Rickey, that gave Jackie the chance to hit his might and endurance to pioneer the way for the many who followed him to even greater heights in baseball. That spirit of endurance we would pray descend upon youth everywhere. O thou who can lighten the minds of those who speak and work for justice, hear our prayer. O thou who can strengthen the wills of those who would be truly free, hear our prayer. Give us here the vision of thy creative purpose and redeeming power and sustaining grace and the vigor to carry on. We dedicate the Jackie Robinson Center, Pasadena, with faith as we view the past, whence we came, with hope for the future, as in this place effort and striving and testing, in all degrees, dilemmas, and differences, we proceed in the present to show, even as Jackie did, that we are all children of the one Father who causes us to be and to do. Now I have a brief modern prayer for us now. We can bring forward the spirit and the memory of our ancestors. And in fact, Miss Deborah here actually knew Father Wilkins, whose prayer I just read, so it was a pleasure talking to her. Brothers and sisters, let us now pray. Loving God, creator of all, we give you thanks for all the history that has gone into creating, preserving, and renewing this place, and for raising up great leaders among us like Jackie Robinson, who not only inspired others with his talent and drive as an athlete, but by his persistence, advocacy, and leadership as a person. It is only by efforts such as his and his wife Rachel's that we today can enjoy the freedom to live together in communities of all races, colors, and creeds. You see your communities challenged today, Lord. They're being torn apart once again by evils such as racism. We pray that you continue to use community centers like this, where all are free to enter and enjoy, to continue to build up your people. We know our future is in your hands, Lord, and that the work of Jackie and Rachel and all those souls who laid the foundations for this center and labor today to keep it going have not been in vain. Continue to bless and prosper the work of the Jackie Robinson Community Center to enrich the lives of all who enter its doors for years to come. Amen. Now I'm going to ask that you help me bless this building. So everybody, where you're standing, put a hand on the wall or just reach towards the wall or the front or wherever you want to be, and you're going to help me bless it. God shall watch over your going out and your coming in from this time forth forevermore. And so we pray, O God and Father of our Lord Jesus Christ, the light of the nations and the glory of your people, bless all who work in and visit this place. May it be for them a place of peace and health, that they may rejoice in the gifts and graces you have bestowed upon them and dedicate their talents for the good of all humankind and for your glory. Amen. And finally, I will bless you all with a benediction very similar to the one that was used 50 years ago. The good words don't change much. Brothers and sisters, go forth into the world in peace. Be of good courage. Hold fast that which is good. Render to no one evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted. Support the weak. Help the afflicted. Honor everyone. Love and serve the Lord, rejoicing in the power of the Spirit. And the blessing of God Almighty, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit be among you all and remain with you forever. Thank you so much.
That was very powerful. Very powerful. At this time here, I just want to give some acknowledgement to some of the staff people here at Jackie Robinson Community Center. I was going to have them come up, but I'm going to just have them wave their hand. Let me have Victor Ramos. Raise your hand, Victor Ramos. Victor Ramos in the back. Let's give him a big round of applause. Tisha Washington. Let's give a big round of applause, Tisha. CP3, a.k.a. Charlene Porter. Tanya Flores. And also Javier. These are the heartbeat of the community that keep this building rolling good. Also, I'd like to give a special shout out to the person who donated this cake, Ms. Barbara Richardson King. Let's give a big round of applause for her for donating the cake. And also for volunteering today, Ms. Paul Paggy. Let's give a big round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Enjoy the cake, enjoy the refreshment, go around, socialize a little bit, and don't forget we have a special presentation down at City Hall. Have a nice day. Thank you very much for coming. Enjoy the rest of the day. May God bless you.